He came in as America's fastest man, the defending world champion. The sprinter who promised the US would never give up its grip on the 100 meters. But in Tokyo, Noah Lyles lost. Not to one rival, to two. Jamaica's Oblique Seville stormed across the line in 9.77 seconds. Kashane Thompson followed close behind in 9.82. And Noah, he finished with bronze in 9.89, a season's best, but not enough. For the first time in a decade, the US left the men's 100-meter world title behind. The question isn't just how Lyles lost this race, it's how his entire season, injuries, setbacks, missed races, may have set him up for failure, and whether this is just a stumble or the start of decline. September 14th, 2025. Tokyo's Olympic Stadium was buzzing. The men's 100-meter final, the marquee race of track and field, a clash of nations, pride in history. The favorite? Noah Lyles. He had been America's face of sprinting, the reigning world champion, the showman who called himself the heir to Usain Bolt's throne. Fans expected him to rise, to remind the world why the stars and stripes still ruled the sprint. But when the gun fired, the script changed. Oblique Seville blasted out of the blocks. His start was flawless, his drive phase explosive. For years, Seville had been the nearly man. Fourth at World Championships, fourth at the Olympics, always in the picture, but never on the podium. In Tokyo, that changed. He didn't just run well, he ran the race of his life. 9.77 seconds, the fastest time in the world this year. Kashane Thompson, another Jamaican, surged just behind. Smooth, powerful, relentless. He clocked 9.82, securing silver. A Jamaican 1-2 punch, the kind of dominance we haven't seen since the days of Usain Bolt and Johan Blake. And then came Noah Lyles. Bronze, 9.89 seconds, his best time of the year, his fastest run since last season. But in this race, it wasn't enough. For a man who had dreamed of world titles, records, and dynasties, third place felt like a defeat. For the US, it was more than just a race lost, it was a break in tradition. Since 2015, America had controlled the men's 100 at Worlds. Names like Christian Coleman, Trayvon Bromell, and Fred Kerley had kept the title stateside. In 2023, it was Lyles himself who stood tallest, delivering gold in Budapest. But in 2025, the baton passed back to Jamaica. And what made it sting more wasn't just the result, it was the symbolism. Jamaica, the nation of sprinting legends, had been searching for its next Bolt. Now, with Seville and Thompson, they may have found it. For Oblique Seville, this was redemption. The athlete who had lived in Bolt's shadow, who had tasted disappointment after disappointment, finally had his moment. "I knew I had this in me," he told reporters, smiling as wide as the track itself. "Tonight, I proved it." For Noah Lyles, the moment was bittersweet. He had fought through injuries, missed races, and questions about form. To even reach the podium in Tokyo was a testament to his resilience. But champions aren't remembered for third place. And as he crossed that line, he knew this race would raise new questions. Was it just a bad year, or had the world caught up? Because for the first time in a long time, it wasn't an American on top of the sprinting world, it was Jamaica, again. If Tokyo felt like a shock, the truth is, this loss had been building all season. Noah Lyles is not the kind of sprinter who hides from competition. He thrives on racing often, testing himself, fine-tuning every detail until it all comes together on the big stage. That's been his formula since his rise. But in 2025, the formula broke down. It started in the spring. Lyles was dealing with a tendon issue that lingered longer than expected. He missed weeks of training, then months of racing. While Seville, Thompson, and other sprinters were sharpening their form in Diamond League meets, Noah was sidelined. By the time July rolled around, he had only run a handful of 100s all year. That lack of preparation mattered. The 100 meters is not just about raw speed. It's about rhythm, timing, confidence, the ability to execute under pressure with muscle memory you've built across dozens of starts. Every block session, every race rep, every false start you learn from, they all matter, and Lyles didn't have enough of them in his legs this year. He admitted it himself. Just before Worlds, he called 2025 the most chaotic season of his career. He said he had been forced to adapt constantly, balancing recovery with competition, never quite finding the groove he needed. Those aren't the words of a man coming in with certainty. Those are the words of a champion trying to will himself through adversity, and while he did well, bronze at Worlds is still elite. The gaps showed. His start wasn't crisp, his acceleration phase wasn't sharp. Against a field as fast as this one, those margins are fatal. Meanwhile, his rivals weren't just competing, they were peaking. Seville had been knocking on the door for years. Thompson had already shown flashes of brilliance. They had momentum, health, and confidence. Noah had grit, but grit alone can only carry you so far in the 100 meters. There's also the mental side. Lyles carries himself with swagger, calling his shots, chasing Bolt's legacy. It's part of what makes him magnetic, but swagger without results can become a burden. Every race this season carried the weight of expectation, not just to perform, but to prove he was still the man. That pressure can sharpen some athletes, but with limited preparation and nagging injuries, it may have chipped away at him instead. It's a reminder of how unforgiving sprinting is. One year, you're the face of the sport. The next, you're a step too slow and the world moves on. But for Lyles, this season isn't just a setback. It's a test. Injuries heal, rhythm can return, confidence can be rebuilt. The question is whether he'll treat this as a lost year, or as fuel for the next one. Because if Tokyo showed us anything, it's that Noah Lyles is no longer unchallenged. The throne is up for grabs, and the Jamaicans are coming fast. For Noah Lyles, the bronze in Tokyo wasn't just a race result, it was a shift in the story of his career. Up until now, he's been seen as the man to carry American sprinting after Usain Bolt's retirement left a vacuum. He wasn't just a champion, he was a showman, someone who brought energy, charisma, and belief that the US could once again dominate the 100 meters the way Bolt had dominated for Jamaica. His victory in Budapest in 2023 felt like confirmation. The torch had been passed, the crown was his. But in 2025, that crown slipped. Oblique Seville's victory wasn't just a personal triumph, it was a statement for Jamaica. For years, people wondered if they'd ever find another Bolt, another era of dominance. Now they have two names, Seville and Kashane Thompson. Both are young, hungry, and just entering their prime. The sight of two Jamaican sprinters crossing the line ahead of Noah Lyles felt like a flashback to 2008, when Bolt and Asafa Powell redefined what sprinting could be. For American fans, especially those who've lived through past rivalries, it's a reminder of how cyclical sprinting is. In the 1980s and 90s, Carl Lewis and Michael Johnson carried the US banner. In the 2000s, it was Tyson Gay and Justin Gatlin battling Jamaicans like Powell and Blake. Every generation has its clash of nations, and right now, Jamaica is swinging back hard. So where does that leave Lyles? On one hand, he's still a superstar. He remains the king of the 200 meters, a race he continues to own. He's still a proven world champion in the 100. And let's not forget, he's still medaled, running his fastest time of the season under immense pressure. That shows resilience, but the rivalry landscape has shifted. Seville and Thompson are not challengers anymore. They're equals, maybe even leaders. Every time Lyles steps into a 100-meter final from here on out, it won't be Noah versus the field. It'll be America versus Jamaica, with the outcome genuinely in doubt. And that uncertainty cuts both ways. For Lyles, it means more pressure, more scrutiny, more questions about whether he's losing his grip. But for fans, it means more excitement. The 100 meters is most thrilling when rivalries are real, when victory isn't guaranteed. Seville versus Lyles, Thompson versus Lyles. These aren't footnotes, they're storylines that will define the road to LA 2028. The danger for Noah is legacy. If he bounces back, reclaims gold, and puts up career-defining performances, this season will be remembered as a bump in the road. But if he fades, if injuries linger and Jamaicans dominate, then Tokyo may be remembered as the turning point, the moment when the sprint crown left American hands. For a man who's talked openly about chasing greatness, chasing Bolt's shadow, that's the last narrative he wants. And it's why the next chapter of his career matters more than ever. For Noah Lyles, Tokyo was not the end, it was a checkpoint. The kind that forces champions to make a choice, rebuild or fade, because sprinting doesn't wait. The next Diamond League meet is already on the calendar. The next Olympic cycle is already ticking toward Los Angeles 2028. Every week, new talent emerges, hungry to take his spot. The window for dominance is small, and once it closes, it rarely opens again. So what does redemption look like for Noah Lyles? First, it starts with health. His 2025 season was derailed by injury from the beginning. If he can get back to full strength, with uninterrupted training, he can rebuild the rhythm and sharpness he lost this year. For a sprinter, there's no substitute for consistent reps. Every start, every acceleration drill, every race builds confidence. Without them, even the fastest athlete looks human. Second, it means embracing the rivalry. Seville and Thompson aren't going anywhere. They're in their prime, and they just proved they can beat him on the world's biggest stage. Noah can't dodge them. He has to face them again and again until the narrative changes. Rivalries make legacies. Carl Lewis had Ben Johnson, Michael Johnson had Donovan Bailey, Usain Bolt had Tyson Gay, Johan Blake, and Justin Gatlin. If Lyles wants his name in that same breath, he needs to embrace the fight, not shy from it. Third, it means proving himself in the 100 meters. His dominance in the 200 is undeniable, but the 100 is sprinting's crown jewel. It's the race that makes legends, the one that cements a sprinter's place in history. A bronze medal in Tokyo is respectable. But respectable isn't enough for Noah Lyles. He's chasing greatness, and greatness demands more. The risks are obvious. Injuries can return. Younger sprinters can emerge. Public patience can fade. In America, track athletes only get the spotlight every 4 years. By the time LA 2028 arrives, if Noah isn't at the top, the spotlight may have shifted somewhere else. But the rewards, they're immense. Imagine Noah Lyles back on US soil in 2028, reclaiming gold in front of a home crowd. Imagine him silencing doubts, outdueling the Jamaicans, delivering the moment every American fan remembers for decades. That's not just redemption, that's immortality. Older fans know this story. They've seen athletes stumble, only to rise higher than before. They've also seen champions who never quite recovered. Noah is standing at that fork in the road. Which path he takes will define his legacy. For now, Tokyo belongs to Jamaica. Seville and Thompson are the names in the headlines. But Noah Lyles isn't done. Not yet. The question is simple. Will this bronze medal be remembered as a stumble on the path to greatness? Or the moment we realize the crown had slipped for good? That answer won't come today or tomorrow. It will come in the races ahead. Because legends aren't made in the easy wins. They're made in the comebacks.